Exciting times. Yeah, I'm going to say it's exciting times. Because if you are a listener of another Pointless Automotive podcast, yes, that's the name. It also is what it is. It's a podcast I do with my co-host, Chadwick, of Auto Obscure Garage. And on that podcast, Chadwick threw down a challenge for each of us to find an interesting car to take on the next Driving While Awesome rally, which is going to be later in the year, September, October, somewhere around there. And a max all-in budget, cost of the car, tires, repairs, maintenance, everything, $3,500 or less. And so this is my selection. So we're going to poke around it before I get to fixing it up. This is a 2004 Ford Focus SVT. It's the 5-door variant. Seen here in very faded, gradient-rich competition orange. And it's very cool. It's very flawed. We'll get into it. Beyond the very faded paint, it does have some stuff I'm going to have to take care of. And so that's kind of what this video is today. We're just going to poke around it, see what I'm up against, see if I've done well, or if it truly is one of my poor life choices. First off, the obvious. The paint, not great. The body is mostly straight. It does have some damage here on the bumper. This fender's got some love, a little wrinkly. This quarter panel, the gentleman I bought it off of had the street park for some time. He had this car for like 12-ish years. But he lives in the Berkeley Hills. It lived parked on the street. And it's a very narrow street in the Berkeley Hills. And it got dinged up by passersby, the garbage truck, the mailman, the female man, the male female, and on and on. And so that was part of the problem. The other part of the problem is, as I said, it sat outside street parked. So the competition orange paint heavily faded. So we've now gone to mac and cheese yellow on some of the plastic bits. So that's the back spoiler, this rear bumper cover, and then other parts of it are, they've kind of faded at different rates. So the stuff up top, the roof, the hood, tops of the fenders is faded quicker than the sides. So we've got like this kind of interesting gradient. You know, the rockers are much more orange than the roof is. What's interesting is on these doors, it's more orange in the middle than on the edges. So it's really interesting to see how kind of poorly this paint has aged. Reds, oranges, they tend to be pretty weak, but this is kind of a really interesting sunset gradient thing. If we look in the door jambs, that's what color it should be. This is what color it is. And you can even see just this body line here, that little shift in angle caused it to fade slower under the body line. I don't know what the kind of conclusion to draw from it, but what it means is that while I'm hoping mechanically this car is going to be great, it's kind of cosmetically totaled. Unless you're good with the faded gradient look, which I don't care. So what are the flaws, right? It doesn't need to look super pretty to go on the rally. And that alone wouldn't cause it to be a $2,000 purchase. Yes, I bought it for $2,000. That alone wouldn't do it. So what does it need? Well, first off, windshield. It's got this crack starting here, looping around, and the owner let me know it was leaking. Thankfully, the interior is not too bad, but they had tried sealing it up with some goop and some tape, and that's assuming, you know, he made the assumption that this is leaking. My experience is normally when you think this windshield is leaking, it's usually something else. A lot of times it's the cowl gets plugged up, and looking at how the paint is aged and knowing that it spent so much time outside, that could be it. But it needs a windshield, so we'll do the windshield, which is probably, I don't know, $250-ish against the budget. It absolutely needs tires. These fronts are hammered. They are well worn, and they're from 2016. So I'm not gonna hustle this thing on bald 8-year-old tires. It does have some flaws beyond that, so we'll start it. We'll pop the hood. The interior is okay. All of these orange cars came with the European appearance package, which was like the big ticket package on these. You got the leather Recaros, you got some different look HID headlamps, a couple of other things I don't recall off the top of my head. But in here, it's not that bad. This car has 136 some odd thousand miles. 136,291 right now. We've got an aftermarket Pioneer stereo with an interesting cell phone holder. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Of course, the mandatory 6-speed manual, heated seats. Needs a deep cleaning. You know, the leather's not great. It's usable, but the seams are starting to go. Headliner's a little shaggy, but it's there. It's not falling down. Maybe hit it with a like a poker table trimmer thing. I don't know. And we'll pop the hood because there are some items we're going to have to take care of under there. But let's start it up. It does run, it does drive. Famous last words, right? There we go. It's a little buzzy. Thankfully, first off, these are all buzzy. Secondly, a lot of these cars, and why are all the lights on? I don't know, maybe they just are. I didn't notice the traction control light off before, but this mic was there, so maybe that's new, maybe that's old, I don't know. We're kind of learning as we go, and there's going to be a lot of that on this. I don't want to call it a series because that sounds borderline insufferable, but we're going to document the mistakes I have made and will continue to make, and that might be one of them. I don't know if that's new. I don't remember seeing the traction control light being off. Check engine light was on. That's for the downstream O2 sensor. It's made some contact with the driver's axle, which is not unheard of, allegedly, in these cars, as are just oxygen sensor issues to begin with. They are known for chewing up and spitting out oxygen sensors. So let's, I'm gonna get the AC going in here while we look around under the hood. One-touch window, look at that. Luxurious. So we need a windshield, we need tires, we need downstream O2 sensor, and hopefully that's it. Battery's getting old. It's a little slow to crank, as you just heard, so we're gonna need a battery. Valve cover gasket. Not great. Could stand to do that. Got new rotor mounts. Try and put our hood up. The timing belt was done at 77,000 miles. It has now 136, but that was done roughly 10 years ago. So it's due by age. That one I don't know if we're gonna have an opportunity to do and get it done under budget, and get it done on time. We might have to roll the dice there. Thankfully it's not way out, it's just a little bit out, date-wise. The other thing it will need is an axle. See all that goop? This driver's side axle is gone. The axle itself's actually okay, but the boot is torn, and axles are cheap on these, so I'm probably just gonna buy just an axle, swap it out. You really see how bad these tires are from under here. And so yeah, that's kind of what we're getting into. That's at least the must-dos. You know, brakes look pretty good, they feel pretty good. Those rotors look quite nice, actually. Let's see if I can snake this in there. Yeah, not really. But pads look like they've got some meat. Back seat looks like a reasonably acceptable place to spend time. Yeah, these seats are definitely vinyl. That is not. They did not even make an attempt to put leather back here. They just said, you know what? Let's get some like taxi quality vinyl. This is a Ford Focus after all. And yeah, no doubt about that. You know, a detail is gonna help this thing out a lot. It's still gonna be faded, but maybe we can get it shiny faded. Oh, we got a lever back here. And so I think I can do this. I think tires, we do have the subwoofer. So we've got tires to do. That's probably gonna be the thing I wanna spend most of my money on. Assuming that the O2 sensor really is just the O2 sensor and I don't have to do anything drastic there. And an axle. And just tune-up stuff, valve cover, gasket. This shouldn't be too bad. The miles are right. These are fun cars. Should be great on some twisty, turny roads. Technical term. And so yeah, I don't know. What do you think? You think I can get this done in under budget? You think it's gonna be good on the TWA rally? You think I'm an idiot? All of the above, none of the above are all on the table. So I don't know. Let me know. I'll hopefully have an update in 3-4 weeks with stuff to chew on. And yeah, we'll be ready in September or October, whenever the rally is. We'll go from there. So thanks for hanging out with me and my my pumpkin problem child. I don't know. I think it should be fun. So until next time.